Good morning. Taylor Elwood here, your men's coach with Inner Alchemy Coaching. And today I want to explore a question that I think is really important to explore in relationship to men's work and really just being a man in general. And it's a tough question. It's a hard question. It's a question that men typically don't ask themselves or each other. Yet it is a question that is at the heart of the insecurity that every man feels in their lives. Do you feel safe? Yep, that's right. I've asked you if you feel safe. Because the interesting thing is that we have this association that if you're a man, a lot of the time you're quote unquote safe. Physically safe anyway, which actually, believe me, is not entirely true. But in general, I think men have this mm, I'll call it privilege in quotes, where they think where there's this sense of safety, at least when it comes to physical safety. Now, as someone who has been assaulted a couple times and who has experienced other trauma, I can tell you that just going out somewhere does not mean you're automatically safe. I've One of the reasons I'm learning kung fu is so that if something ever happens, I actually know what to do. Because having been on the receiving end of a meth head's fist, I'll tell you, it is one of the scariest experiences of your life. And you're wondering, am I going to die? That was the question I had a few years ago when I got hit by this meth head. He came running up. He asked me who I was working for. I said, no one. Then he punches me. And he punched me so hard that I went down a hill and into a fence. I'm lucky he didn't break my jaw. And that was one of the scariest moments of my life because the entire time I was wondering, is he going to come chasing after me and kill me? And what am I going to do? Because I didn't know what I would do. Well, now I do know what I would do if something like that happened. I would know how to respond. I would protect myself in a different way than I had. And that experience in and of itself helped me question the assumption of safety. I learned that, I learned that just going out there in the world, I wasn't automatically safe. And I'd grown up under some somewhat sketchy circumstances. I'd gotten into fights as a kid, and I'd lost more fights than I had won. So I already had some sense of street smarts because I'd had to get them. But that situation reminded me of that. But when I'm talking about safety, I'm not just talking about physical safety. I'm talking about emotional safety. I'm talking about, do you feel safe emotionally? Do you feel safe intellectually? Yes, that's true as well. Mentally, do you feel safe mentally? Let's rephrase that. Let's rephrase that. Do you feel safe mentally or creatively? Do you feel safe spiritually? Do you feel safe in other ways? And I got to say that the fact of the matter is I don't think most men out there really do feel safe. I know I don't. I was thinking about this question last night. Do I feel safe? And I realized I don't. I don't feel safe in general. I'm starting to learn how to feel safe around the company of other men. I'm learning how to speak my truth and open up with them and let them in a way that I think I've never really been able to do with anyone before in my life. When I look at this question in relationship to women, in general, I have a certain level of safety I can get to. But if I'm being really honest, I don't feel safe when it comes to women. And there's lots of reasons for that. I mean, I could go into them, but it doesn't really matter what the reasons are. The point is that I don't feel safe. And I started paying better attention to this, listening to this, thinking about this. I was thinking about it because of something last night where I was watching this video and this guy was talking about nice guy behaviors and why men bend over backwards and people please, why they're codependent. And the answer that I came up with on my own is, but in part because of what he shared, is that ultimately there is a sense of, if I do this thing, I'll be accepted and loved and wanted. But also, if I do it, I'll be safe. I'll be safe. I won't get hurt. I won't get torn down. I won't get beaten up. I won't be kicked out and abandoned and all the other things. Let me tell you, that's never been true. I've My experiences just with people in general have told me that a lot of times I've I've been told that I've been too much. I was told that recently. And you know, I realized that it it really comes right down to learning how to be safe with myself, because I don't know that I've ever been safe even with myself. And one of the reasons why I do the self love work that I do is for that reason. Now, if you're new to this channel and you're watching this video, I want you to click subscribe. I want you to like this channel and leave a comment. Like this video. I'd appreciate it. So, I haven't felt safe with myself. So, how could I feel safe with anyone else if I didn't feel safe with myself? Right? I'm learning to feel safe with myself. I'm learning to love myself and like myself and respect myself and choose myself. And that in and of itself is its own journey. Because so often we aren't taught how to like or love or respect ourselves. We aren't taught how to be present with ourselves, let alone with anyone else. Now, I would joke that I am my own best friend. I mean, I spent most of my childhood by myself, talking with myself. I mean, literally talking out loud with myself. I spent most of my time in my childhood just wandering on my own. I didn't have a lot of friends. I wasn't well liked, and I felt like an outsider a lot of the time. Earlier this weekend, I was asked. We were talking in a group, and we were talking about belonging. And as I shared, I never really felt like I belonged. I only really started to feel like I belonged when I started going to certain activities, like my kung fu studio. I feel like I belong there. My men's circle, I feel like I belong there. Ask me anywhere else, and I'd be honestly, no, I don't really know that I belong. I don't feel safe all the time, but I'm learning to feel safe with myself. Some of that is learning the martial arts. Some of it is continuing to do the internal work and the meditation and the self love practice. Some of it is learning how to choose myself and saying yes to myself and saying, instead of saying yes to everyone else but me. Right now, I'm in this process. I've made this decision a day or so ago that I'm gonna spend the next 6 to 8 weeks just focusing in on myself and focusing in on my work and my journey. Not that I haven't been doing that anyway, but I realized I needed to course correct on some things. I needed to shift my focus and awareness on and just focus on me. And I felt this sense of relief and this sense of, yeah, like you got to get your priorities straight, and your first priority has got to be you. You cannot sacrifice everything for someone else, because when you do that, you lose that sense of safety anyway, because you're relying upon that other person to keep you safe. And the fact of the matter is, there's nobody out there who is going to keep you safe like you can. You're responsible for your own sense of safety. And that doesn't mean you go out there and attack other people. It doesn't mean you go out there and force yourself on other people in any way, shape, or form. It means that you live a life of integrity and purpose, that you love yourself enough to say, I choose myself, and I choose to value myself, and I choose to respect and like and love myself, and I choose to be responsible for my safety. I choose to be responsible for who I am and how I show up in the world, and I'm honest about it. And now, is that easy work? No. I've been learning that work over the last year, and let me tell you, I definitely see that it is a work in progress. But I like who I am better than I have ever liked myself in my life. I like the way I show up better than I have ever liked how I've shown up in my life. So I know this work is worth it, and it's really just a matter of sticking through. We're going to explore this question of safety more in some subsequent videos. But I want you to consider and journal today. I have a prompt in the description of the video. I want you to answer those questions and ask yourself, what does it mean to be safe? Do you feel safe? What does that mean? All right. Thank you, my brothers. And I hope you all have an excellent week.